right, this is Scott at land, and in front of the camera is Evan Painter. He's gonna do the duty of showing us all the goods. So today we're gonna go a little bit more in depth onto the land district. So we are land, we make these right here in Cleveland. Let's go through a couple updates that we're going through right now. We are moving to our carbon nylon reinforced bodywork. Let's look at what that brings. So these were our first run parts right here, and these are urethane cast parts. Very strong, but it is not a super repeatable process, and they're a little bit heavy. So to scale up production, this is where we were at. You can see the A surface is super nice quality. What we are doing right now is moving to our fiber reinforced product, and what you see here are first shots off of our molds. So this is where we try to see where our sink marks are, how all of our flow's going, because these are going to be then textured and put right into production. So we're now doing in mold color, and it gives us a really nice look on the vehicle. So we're going to be tweaking these molds over the next couple weeks, and then we're going to start pulling parts off of this. But now what you get is a part that's half the weight. You've reduced all of that process time, so you don't have to seal, prime, paint, and kind of do all those processes that requires automotive paint. You can see here Evan is experimenting with some different under treatments here. So we've got that version, we've got this version. So we're just going in to see what kind of support we need. These things are so strong, we don't actually need it. But what this does is keeps the battery from rattling. So this will push the battery down. So that's one of the new components that we are putting into production. So let's look at some of the other components here. We have finally, after about a year, got our onboard charger complete. So this will sit directly on the vehicle. Show you where that goes. So I'll go right behind the battery, right on the back side of the battery box. We really wanted to have this because now you can kind of plug the bike and top it up wherever you're at. Got some updates on our triple trees. So we're moving from CNC to forging. So that's the old version. And then we've made the process a lot simpler, so we can go to a pretty simple hot forge. And we are still going to be making the higher end full CNC versions, but to reduce price for mass production, we're doing a big price drop, right, just to make these things more accessible. So if you still want the really high dollar CNC components, we can still go there, but a lot of the components are being changed to hot forging. And then we're also strengthening some components. So this is a good example of moving from a full CNC component to a precast unit. So this is CNC, but we're looking at when we go to forging or casting how we want to do the pegs. And again, we will probably still keep the CNC components for the custom builds, but for the mass production bikes, I don't think most customers are going to care if it's CNC versus forged. And then of course, a bunch of the small parts, right, the stuff we were 3D printing, all of these parts are getting turned into injection molded parts. So we're basically going from some low volume processes to much more high volume processes. But this is amazing with the state of manufacturing in the US is we can scale up manufacturing at a small scale with really high-end components. And then as we reach bigger scale, we can move to still super high-end, still made in the US, but of course methods that allow us to get to thousands of bikes instead of hundreds.